What is it like to live in Surrey, BC? And why should you even consider calling this place home if you're looking at moving to Surrey or just relocating to the area? Before you make a move, you need to know everything you can figure out about the community so you know that it is the perfect opportunity and move for not only yourself, but if you have a family, them as well. Well, I got good news for you today because you're in luck. We're going to cover absolutely everything in today's video about exactly what it's like to live in the city of Surrey. I'm going to give you some anecdotal information, I'm going to give you some facts, some data, and the best part is I'm going to make sure you know exactly how to dive deeper into the information that might be important to you should you decide that there's a little bit more that you need to figure out. So make sure you hang around till the end. I'll let you know how to get that. But if that sounds good, cue the music and let's get started. My name is Darren, a realtor with McDonald Realty in Surrey, BC, and team leader of the German group. If this is your first time on this channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living in White Rock, BC, Surrey, BC, or anything to do with the crazy world that is British Columbia real estate, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the information we're posting on a regular basis about the communities and the market. People just like you are booking online meetups with me and my team every day to learn more about the areas that we serve, and the good news is, well, we're here to help. Whether you're moving in the next 9 days, 90 days, or even 9 months from now, be sure to use the online link to book a time to speak directly with me and my team so we can help make sure your move to the area is absolutely the best that it could ever be. So what is it like to live in Surrey? What can you learn from a local who's lived in Surrey their entire life, who's done business in Surrey his entire life? To get started, let's go a little bit rapid fire, not only into what is going to be contained in today's video, but I'll let you know how you can skip ahead to the parts that might make a little more sense for you. First, we're going to start with an overview of Surrey. We're going to talk about getting around in Surrey, about the traffic, about the public transportation, and we're also going to jump into the weather in Surrey, what it's like to be outside. We're going to talk all about the different communities in Surrey, as well as the people and the demographics in the neighborhoods. We're going to jump into housing. We're going to talk about the cost of living generally in Surrey. And we're also going to talk about what to do here for fun, because hey, we all need to have a little bit of fun, right? So regardless of what you're looking for in today's video, we will be sure to make sure that everything is itemized in the chapters in the description of this video, which you can just scroll down and take a look in there and jump ahead to your favorite or the spots that you're most excited to learn about. Of course, with that being said as well, you can also check out our Living in Surrey playlist, which is absolutely packed with more detailed videos on all the sorts of things we're going to discuss today. And I'll even reference some of the videos as I go through today's list to make sure you know everything that you need about living and what it's like to live in the city of Surrey. Time for an overview on Surrey generally. Well, Surrey is the second most populous city in the province of British Columbia, and that of course is next to the city of Vancouver. We're going to touch on all of that in a little bit, but speaking of next to, well, Surrey is actually pretty much smack dab in the middle of the Lower Mainland. This makes it relatively easy to access all the other municipalities that surround Surrey simply because it's so central. If you've never experienced Surrey before, Surrey is like the little brother of Vancouver. It's just a suburb of another bigger city, but this is also a suburb that's growing at an incredible pace, something that we're going to touch on a little bit later in the video. But nonetheless, Surrey is a suburb of Vancouver, so you can kind of get the whole Vancouver, British Columbia experience by living in Surrey. It's just going to be a little bit different. That takes us into our first point for today's video, and that's getting around, traffic and public transportation. One thing that I would be remiss to not let you know about right away in this video is that in Surrey, there is construction absolutely everywhere, and it feels like it's almost all the time. That is exactly because the city is growing at such a fast pace. With construction means, of course, sometimes it can take a little bit longer to commute to other areas in the Lower Mainland. Now, an interesting fact that you might enjoy is the Vancouver suburbs, which Surrey is one of them, is ranked by TomTom as having the second worst traffic in North America. That's not necessarily something we should be proud of, but it's true. In fact, in Vancouver, it takes an average of 23 minutes and 10 seconds to travel only 10 kilometers. And it's estimated that you will spend up to 90 hours per year just sitting in traffic. So hopefully if you come here, you don't have to travel very far for work on those times where rush hour is occurring. But you might be thinking, okay, well, let's talk about public transportation. Just a quick interruption to let you know that we're on a mission to empower home buyers and sellers to achieve unparalleled success in real estate. This video that you're enjoying right now is a labor of love, free from ads by choice, to help you nail your next move to our community and learn all about the crazy world of real estate from a real person who cares. Now, this takes hours and hours each week to get right, and it's just for you. So here's my humble request. A simple like from you on this video. That's all I'm asking. No need to hit subscribe. Just a click, taking mere seconds, could make a monumental difference to me, but more crucially, it could transform the journey for someone else who needs to hear this video's message. So thanks in advance for that like, and I hope you find the rest of this video to be just as valuable. We have a very complicated, but I would say highly effective transportation system ran by a company named TransLink. We've got what we call the SkyTrain, we've got buses, of course, and we've got even something really cool that not everywhere has called the C-Bus. There was 4 major SkyTrain stations in the city of Surrey, with about 6 additional SkyTrain stations on the way for the new Surrey to Langley SkyTrain line that is estimated to be completed towards the end of 2028. There's also 9 major bus loops in the city of Surrey, so no matter where you end up in the city, you do have a major bus loop relatively close that is going to get you anywhere in the Lower Mainland that you need to go. So let's say you want to travel to downtown Vancouver, taking the SkyTrain and avoid all of that terrible traffic that I just told you about. Well, you're in for about a 35-minute ride to get from the north of Surrey all the way to downtown Vancouver, right by Canada Place, to go have some fun. Next on our list is the weather in Surrey, and the weather generally in British Columbia, but more so on the coast, is relatively moderate to most other areas in Canada. As you would expect in the winter months like December and January, these are by far our coldest months, where we have an average low of about 0 degrees. Of course, in the summer is when we have our hotter months, in July and August, we have an average high of about 23 degrees, which really shows just how incredibly moderate it is out here in terms of weather. That's why people love living out here. In fact, I feel like when I travel to other areas of Canada in the wintertime, I don't have coats that I can buy in Surrey that will keep me warm enough in other areas of Canada because it gets so cold in other spots. If you're moving to Surrey, you may have also heard about the rain. In fact, in the fall and winter months, you can expect nearly half of the days in the month to have rain. And when they don't have rain, there's quite a bit of gray sky, as you can imagine. But one thing that's really fun about that gray sky is when the sun does come out, everybody comes out to play. There's no doubt that our summers are getting warmer as climate change starts to impact everywhere around this planet. But again, the weather is still relatively temperate because we're so close to the ocean, generally getting a really nice ocean breeze in almost all the areas of Surrey. And I don't want to freak you out too much about the rain because in the summer we only have about an average of 3 days per rain for each month that happens. Oh, and if you are a big disliker of snowstorms, you're maybe coming from other areas of Canada where it gets quite cold, we do get a little bit of snow in Surrey, but it's pretty rare and it doesn't tend to last long, typically turning into slush and rain very shortly after it snows. It's that temperate weather that you're going to absolutely love. Jumping into the communities in Surrey, Surrey is one of the biggest municipalities in Canada. And because it's one of the biggest municipalities in Canada, as you would imagine, there is lots of different areas and communities in Surrey that are all just a little bit different. The 6 communities that you will learn about as you come to Surrey would be Guildford, South Surrey, Whalley, Newton, Fleetwood, and lastly, Cloverdale. These communities are all relatively different from each other. They all offer different things. So rather than jump into them too much in this video, if you want to learn more about the communities and what they offer in the city of Surrey, I'm going to recommend you go check out the video we did on this here. I'm going to mention this as well a few times throughout this video, but you can also check out our Living in Surrey playlist generally, where we do a super deep dive into each of these individual communities on their own to help you really know which one might be the best fit for you. In these, we talk about price differences between the communities, what you will generally experience living in each of these communities, and some of the things that people really love about living there. So make sure you check out that Living in Surrey playlist or the video that I showed you earlier. Jumping over to people and demographics, you probably are very aware that Surrey is an incredibly diverse community and the population is growing quickly. Right now, the population of Surrey is just shy of about 600,000 people, but that is slated to change drastically in the next short period. In fact, it's estimated that Surrey will overtake Vancouver as BC's most populous city by the year 2029. So that obviously is a lot of people coming to the area. Diversity is absolutely huge in Surrey as well. We've got almost every ethnicity that you could ever imagine, something that makes our community so awesome and so enjoyable to be a part of. A number that may surprise you is that, in fact, almost 50% of the residents living in Surrey are immigrants to the area. They weren't born here, they're new to the area. If you want to learn more about these things in detail, like the different ethnicities that are in Surrey, the different languages that are spoken, the average ages in the area, family dynamics in the area, more about the population, and just more generally about diversity in Surrey, we did a video all about it right here that you're going to definitely want to check out, because we do a deep dive into everything that you could ever want to know about that. Let's transition now into the cost of living, because that is such an important piece of moving to a new community to make sure that not only you can afford to live here, but you can also afford to go have some fun as well. If you're from elsewhere in the world, you may have heard or you may think that Surrey is relatively expensive, and that certainly could be the case for, many people. However, it's worth mentioning that compared to the other areas in the Lower Mainland, Surrey actually is almost like it's on sale. As an example, homes in Surrey, let's take detached homes to kind of paint a little bit of a picture and compare those to Vancouver, for instance. Well, homes in Vancouver, as reported by the Home Price Index, something provided by the real estate associations in the neighborhood, show us that detached homes in Vancouver are almost $900,000 more expensive than the average detached home in the city of Surrey. That's a huge, huge difference, especially when you're considering that by 2029, Surrey's population is going to overtake Vancouver's. You're going to see big price discrepancies like this also with townhomes, also with condominiums, and also in rent prices as well. Touching on rent a little bit, because rents are cheaper, that doesn't just apply to residential rents, but that also applies to commercial rents. So if it's cheaper for a business to rent a commercial space to perform the functions of their business, that means they can also pass those savings on to the customer. Groceries would be a really easy example. You will pay less for groceries in the city of Surrey than you would in the city of Vancouver, simply because they don't have the cost of rent like those in the city of Vancouver might have. Circling back again to the Living in Surrey playlist, you can find videos just like this one where we talk about the cost of living in Surrey, not only with the price of real estate, what rents are going for in the city, the cost of entertainment, what you're going to pay for the average item, as well as what's going on for people that might have kids in the city. Definitely a good watch if you're concerned about the cost of living in the city of Surrey. Coming up on the heels of that too is housing. What can you expect for housing in the city of Surrey, as well as what can you expect to pay for housing in the city of Surrey? So we already covered what a detached home will sell less for compared to the area of Vancouver, as well as the video I just mentioned is going to show you a little bit about the cost of living in Surrey, but likely exactly where you're coming from. We have all different types of housing stock in the city of Surrey. So we have, of course, detached homes, we have condominiums, we have townhomes, we have manufactured homes in the city of Surrey. What we call strata or townhomes or condominiums, those are starting to become increasingly popular, and they have been doing this for years and years. In fact, over 50% of the residents in Metro Vancouver live in strata properties. This is higher density type living. This seems somewhat like a lens into the future, because this type of housing is primarily what's being added on a regular basis. You don't see a lot of detached home developments going up anymore. With that being said though, there is a ton of opportunity to own real estate, to own property in the city of Surrey, and there's a ton of opportunity to rent as well. And the rental options, they can be just as good as the options to purchase. You can find detached homes, you can find townhomes, you can find condominiums, or if you're looking for more of a shared living experience that likely is a little bit cheaper, you can also find things like coach houses and basement suites that are all easily available and relatively affordable in the city of Surrey. I want to wrap up this video with recreation. That is the last on my list that I want to share with you and give you a little bit of an idea of what it's like to live in the city of Surrey. There's so many great reasons that I love this area. I love this neighborhood. It makes me happy and excited to be a resident. And those can be simple things like, well, Surrey is called the city of parks. There is parks absolutely everywhere. In fact, there's over 200 parks in the city of Surrey. This means that if you visited a new park once per weekend, it would take you almost 4 years to experience every park that the city has to offer. Now, being smack dab in the Lower Mainland, we are also just a short drive to the mountains. We are very near the beach. And with all this mild weather that we have in Surrey, this means you get to be outdoors as much as you want. Some months though, just means you have to have a really good raincoat on. There's just about every option for sports in Surrey. Because of our diversity, we've got different sports that are popular from all across the world, and you can find these being played at all of the parks and community centers that are available in the neighborhood, and we have got plenty of them. Some of my favorite things to do to have recreation with myself and my family is either getting into some of the trails and some of the amazing forests and parks that we have to go for a walk. visiting Crescent Beach in the summertime or even in the winter to go grab a coffee and walk along the promenade just to enjoy the ocean breeze and the view. Or the last, which is one of my absolute favorite, and it's not really in Surrey, but it's driving up to the local mountains to go up snowboarding with my family because they're only about a 45-minute drive from the very bottom of Surrey where I live personally. You're also not going to go wrong with shopping. You don't need to go into downtown Vancouver anymore for any of that sort of thing because we've got major shopping areas scattered all throughout Surrey. This would be like Surrey Central Mall as an example, which is right in the hub and downtown of the city center of Surrey. Shortly just down the road from that area, you've also got Guildford Mall, which is definitely the biggest and kind of the biggest area for commerce, but also the second biggest mall is located there called Guildford Town Center, where you've got just about every shop and type of restaurant you could ever want to experience. For shopping, you also would want to check out the Grandview Corners neighborhood, which is an outdoor shopping area in South Surrey, which is absolutely beautiful. It's got a lot of kind of high-end shops and whatnot. And with the diversity in Surrey, we don't want to forget to talk about food as well, because there is so many different ethnicities in this neighborhood, which means you have just about every type of ethnic food you could ever want to try scattered throughout the city, making for some really good, incredible culinary eats. When it comes to really high or really fine dining, if you're into that sort of thing, Surrey is still kind of trying to find its footing in that area. So most people are still going to travel to other communities, maybe in the Tri-Cities or Vancouver, to go to kind of some of those more premier restaurants. But give us some time because Surrey's going to catch up, and you'll see one day we're going to have many options. So there you have it. That's exactly what it's like to live in the city of Surrey. That is the experience that I have, and I hope that one day that can be the experience that you get to enjoy as well. I mentioned at the start of the video, I wanted to make sure that you had a way to go way deeper into any of the information that you might deem to be important when you're choosing to relocate to a neighborhood. And the answer to that, well, if you were paying attention, that was already brought up multiple times in this video, and that is to check out our Living in Surrey playlist, where we do deep dives into so much of this information so you can go as deep and get everything you need to know prior to making your move out this way. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up or a like if you found value in it, and we will definitely look forward to seeing you on the next video because you've subscribed, right? Okay. Looking forward to seeing you. See you on the next one. Cheers.